The Luiz Loures, which I'd asked you about yesterday, this stepping down, does the Secretary General or Ms. Beagle, who worked with him while at UNAIDS, view this as related to the seemingly exonerated charges of sexual harassment against him? And what comment do they have? People see this, I mean, there was Forsyth, there's a variety of things. Mr. La Rue, where does this stand in the continuum? And what's the status of, for example, the Secretary General said he would have a hotline by mid-month.
Yeah,
the hotline,
the hotline should be ready to go fairly soon. As soon as we're able to announce it, we will, as well as the survey. The Secretary General, I think, again today, talked about the importance of gender parity and of the growing presence of women in positions of power in this organization, having parity throughout the system as one important way to create a climate that combats sexual harassment. He has asked his colleagues in the chief executive boards, and a task force has been formed to really do a quantum leap on how we deal with issues of sexual harassment. We need to create an atmosphere where A, these things don't happen, and B, and if they do happen, that people feel free to come forward, to speak up, and to be protected. And all staff deserve to have a safe working environment. The UNAIDS, I would refer you to UNAIDS. The investigation was done. The result was what it was. Mr. Loures made that decision, and it's not for me to analyze the motivation of his decision.
Are the members of the task force public? Could you provide a list of the sexual harassment?
It's a task force that is made up of representatives of all the CEB members, which Ms. Beagle is heading on behalf of the Secretary General.
And
I mean, it involves. It's basic. It has to involve. It has to involve all the UN, all the UN agencies that are represented in the Chief Executive Board.
Okay. And the other thing I wanted to ask is, since this protection for speaking out, I've just seen the response by the Chief of Staff of the Secretary General to the retaliation complaint of Emma Reilly at the Office of High Commissioner. And the reason I'm asking is that it seems to be, it says that no protective measures will be taken because she was transferred to Mauritania, but she's actually been evacuated medically because of the retaliation. And it seems, they say that her letters to the Secretary General, following her letter to the Guardian, and the letters of the Government Accountability Project remain unanswered by the Secretary General, even unacknowledged. So that doesn't, there seem to be some questions about whether staff are actually...
I answered that first. I cannot speak to individual cases, and I'm not privy to private correspondence.
Right, but the Chief of Staff's response is now public to David Kaye. He complained about the retaliation.
Right, I have not seen it, so I try not to speak of things I have not seen. Sometimes I do, but I try not to.
On one of the things, and I understand the UNFPA thing, I'm only asking about this because of what your answer was, that they were not citing immunity in India. A criminal complaint has been now filed. So I wanted to know, given that, is the UN going to seek to now use its immunity to as a response to that?
All these cases will need to be studied and decision will be made.